All right, episode 3.
Here,
I
we're
took it
back.
off the last two. G-Liv, if you want to kind of get us introduced and
I just
kind of get today going.
look at these people, man. Three of my favorite people, and that's no offense to G Unit and Ando, who's not with us tonight, but looking out at the collective, and I'm looking at B Smooth, who apparently is at a training complex somewhere at what looks to be an NCAA college somewhere. Don't play that man for money. He's
Yeah.
ready to rock and roll. What's up, dude?
Oh, it's all good, G Love. And yes, getting this game ready to go. I don't know if everybody else is feeling it here in Georgia. The weather just went almost spring like the last week, and it's raining right now. But I'm starting to get both the golf fever and starting to set some matches up. And actually, G Love, we got to talk about our non-disclosed uh, location, but there's some good golf coming up. It's been really for me sort of retooling the bag. I know a lot of us are going to talk about what we've done. I don't know if you guys do trade-in programs or not, and maybe that'll be one of our topics one day. I'm not one to store and hoard. Once I'm done with it, it's got to go. But I did the Newport 2 Scotty Cameron Blade. I'm actually hitting that a lot better than I did the mallet, so I'm excited. And then moved out some of the old woods and brought in and look, there's some folks that pick on an older man, but I'm hitting 7 woods, 9 woods, and a 4 hybrid, and just put the QI10s in the bag. So when we get to the big up, I'm going to talk about what I think is going to happen.
All right,
And then
all
the
right.
last thing I did before we move it around the horn, after the Pebble Beach and Rory doing what he did last week, uh, Foresight that I've got my launch monitor with, Bushnell, I think either bought them or there's some affiliation there. Put all the Pebble Beach, Del Monte, Spyglass, and Spanish Inn on sale for half off. And my good friend told me, Brandon, we paid more than that for one round. Why in the world would you hesitate? So on the screen back there now is Pebble Beach #1, playing from the up tees. I believe I'm going to start shooting singles.
I love
Let's
it.
go.
I love it. Izzy, what's going on over there? My brother from about 8 miles away. What's
Yeah,
going
right
on?
around the corner. I went to the range again this past weekend, and was hitting really well, almost scarily. Uh, I when we went the week before last, I was hitting pretty well, but this past weekend, I feel like I figured something out in my swing, working on the pacing I was telling you guys about last week. So I'm hoping to maybe try and play around this weekend and see if I can transfer the confidence and the swing thoughts that I've had at the range to the course. Um, I will give an update next week and see and let you guys know if that happened.
That's lovely. I am nowhere near course ready, and as soon as you said I might play around this weekend, I'm like, give a brother a call. I'll
I
give you
will. I will.
never too early, right?
Hey man, the weather's actually after we had snow last week and it snow's now melted for the most part and it actually like it's kind of cool and nice outside.
That's nice for sure. I know it's not cool in Massachusetts. No, it's cold in Massachusetts, but you've got some big news when we talk about what's new up there. Tell us all about it.
Oh,
You're
you're
you're on
muted.
you're on mute, my man. Uh-oh. Still on mute. We can't hear you. You get that sorted out and we'll circle back around.
Yeah, G, you go.
I'll tell you, man. So little news here. There's some new clubs here and that's what uh Noah's gonna talk about here in a second. He's gonna talk about maybe some new sticks in the house, a la Be Smooth. I got a Ping 430. He got dropped
Mm.
off today. His little brother, the 3 wood, came along with him, and a little cousin, the 3 hybrid, will be here next week. And I think that'll set me up because I'm pretty happy with my irons. I'm also rocking a Newport 2 uh, Be Smooth, and I love it. You pry it out of my hands. That sucker it's been refurbished once already. Putter Spa. Find him on Instagram. He does a great job, and that's not even a deal we have yet with him. I did that for free. Butterspa, call me. We'll work out something. And it needs to go back. It probably will after this season. It needs to be touched up a little bit. It's rocking the green, white, and yellow. But I can't wait to get down in the simulator, y'all. We'll continue to hear about the simulator I've built, very similar setup to what B Smooth has there. But the big news that I have, it's even bigger than that. Got me dancing. I might do a little Ric Flair here, start dancing for everybody. And B Smooth's already told you, March 31st, Daddy, in Vegas, Daddy.
Vegas, baby. I didn't know if we were going to disclose it, but let's go.
Las Viva!
Las
I am
Vegas.
going to be playing with my man, B Smooth. We're going to be together. Now, we're all going to play together at different parts, but it's signed, it's sealed, and it's delivered, baby. We're going to be playing together. And brother, I can't wait. Some of the best rounds I've ever played in my life is with you. So, man, I'm counting down the days. I can't wait, man. That's the big news this week.
Well, we're guaranteed good weather, so let's rock Vegas.
Right.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Right. Noah, you back in the land of living, my man?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
what's going on up there, my man?
So golf season, unfortunately, still 6 weeks away. Probably courses won't open until first of April. So, in other news, a town about 20 minutes away, they got a whole basement of a shopping complex for an indoor simulator because the ranges and everything are closed. I got my new irons in, trying to hit them. Got a driver fitting tomorrow to try to catch the 430s before they roll out, and they're on sale right now. So try to catch them before they roll out. And
tell us about this indoor place. It's a bottom of a shopping center.
Yeah, so it's basically under a it's like the Massachusetts equivalent of kind of like a Big Lots type store, but there's that and then an urgent care, and it's a whole strip mall. And then underneath it is a indoor. It's called iGolf, and it's like an indoor. It's like an indoor.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like bar, restaurant, simulators. They got a game room, pool tables.
That's cool.
So
they'll probably rock GS Pro in there. You could play some courses.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hit because the season's still a bit away and it's a shorter season.
Right.
So
right. Well, you just remember, every week you wait is a week that I'm ahead of you when we start playing for stakes. Yeah. So you take your time, baby.
Yeah. Got a little hairy there. The clubs are on back order. The shafts are on back order, and now they're not. They weren't, and I just came home one day and they were sitting on the front porch. So
yeah, there's nice surprises like that.
Yeah.
Right? Ding. Now you go get over to iGolf and make it happen.
Yeah, I got to.
Well, it's funny, man, because I've seen you play. Obviously, I saw you take your first swings literally, and it takes you about 5 minutes to get from I'm rusty to I'm ready to rock and roll. I've never seen anybody go from SHI, you know what, to sugar like you do. So it won't take long. You'll be ready to roll. So,
but yeah, I'm excited for this club fitting. Obviously, I need a driver, but I'm still in a little back and forth about what I want to do for woods because I never play a 3-wood. I've carried one for years. I never play a 3-wood. So I'm kind of, all these players now carrying 7-woods, 9-woods, 5-woods. They've become more popular. I'm very interested to see what the
our man B Smooth.
Highly recommended, Noah. Highly recommended. It's not an ageism thing. Just come on across to the woods.
Because I already play a good 4-iron. I have a 2-iron, so I'm very interested in. If I have a 7-wood or 5-wood, what that would do to my par 5 game.
Well, raise your hand if you've got a club in your bag that's harder to hit than a 3-wood. I don't.
Yeah.
Y'all, one of y'all might. What you got, Izzy?
I got a 4-iron blade.
All right. Man.
Yeah.
I've just never gained the confidence with those fairway woods. But I would tell you, man, 2-irons seem like I don't know anybody but that carries a 2-iron. But when it's on, it's on.
Yeah.
So
I've got a driving 2-iron that used to be my absolute go-to club. If I wasn't going to hit a driver off the tee, it was the 2-iron, and I could smoke it. And nowadays, I feel lost with it in my hands. It's in the bag, but I tend to rely on the 3-wood or the 4-iron instead. I lost it, whatever it was, whatever I had, it's over.
B, when did you go to the 7 wood?
3 seasons ago, and actually, with talking about Vegas, to me, hitting something like a 4-iron, a 2-iron, it's all about odds. And look, when that wheel starts spinning and that marble starts going around, the odds are against you to beat the house. So if I can hit a 4-iron, which I could, the odds of me, I mean, even as Arcos mapped it, the odds of me being where I want to be were so small, 20-25%, it wasn't worth the distance or the shape. So going to a 7 wood now, my odds of being in play, being at a good distance are so much higher. Same thing with the 9 wood. So for spacing between clubs, I do run into a little bit of an issue with the 7 wood and the 4 hybrid, but I use those clubs for different environments. But 3 years ago, and you've been with me, so even if I miss hit, it doesn't go wild off the planet. But when I hit, I couldn't fathom a 2-iron in the name of Bobby Jones. What are you going to do with a club when you look down at it? It looks like a broomstick. To me, that just visually is too intimidating. And it could be a bit about swing speed and all the things they tell you mechanically. But these woods, kind of like the old Adam Tight lies for the elder statesman in the room.
Yeah.
There were people that had full sets of hybrids and woods in essence, and it just became an easier club to hit. But now, in my defense, because I get a lot of ribbing from the guys I play with when they see them, we've now got Dustin Johnson and a few other notable players hitting woods. And obviously, it's an application club for them, but it just tells you that if you're confident, to me, that's the main thing. So if Noah can put a 2-iron to the ground and hit it, stripe it 220, 230 probably, more power to him. But the old man is going to hit that 9 wood, and I'm going to walk right back up to a ball in the fairway.
And realistically, a par 5 for me is driver, 4-iron, pitching 80-yard shot, 60-yard shot onto the green. So it's a 3-shot hole anyways, because I hit a 4-iron better than I do any kind of fairway wood.
Wow.
I've seen it a million times, man. I don't know, man. When I hit Izzy 4-iron, but also 3-iron if I had a 2-iron, who was the football coach? I could do three things could happen there, and 2 of them ain't good. That's kind of me hitting a low iron like that. It ain't gonna be good. 3 out of 3 probably. So I asked a guy. I went to a fitting recently, and I was kind of, 7 wood, where would it fit into me? He said, man, you carry a 3 hybrid now, 7 wood, 3 hybrid, pretty much going to be the same distance for you. What are you more comfortable with right now, a wood or a hybrid? For me, hybrid all day long. He said, rock a 3 hybrid. Don't look back. Don't worry about a 7 wood. So I'm not making any judgments for anybody else, but when I'm on, I'm pretty comfortable with a 3 hybrid. If I'll trust the swing and don't give up on it, that's probably one of the most confident swings I have in the bag. But when things start falling, y'all know how it is when the swing starts falling apart or the round starts falling apart, and you can't hit anything, but we'll see, man. That's it. Hey, well, let's talk about what happened, on the tour this week. I was going to keep a list of countries that have never seen a player win on the PGA Tour, and I hadn't started that list yet, but if I had, I'd have to go scratch Belgium off the list. Thomas Dietrich, am I right? This cat, I mean, he turned a laugher at the Waste Management Open into a complete runaway. Did y'all watch the end of that tournament on Sunday? Or were you pre-gaming with the puppies at the Super Bowl?
Yeah. So what did the score end up being? Because I cut it off an hour or two before the Super Bowl.
I mean, he won by 7. I think he
7 strokes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it was never close. There was a minute there, I think when he was 20 under, and Daniel Berger could have gotten it to 18, but he didn't, and could have been a two-shot lead, and then it gets a little uncomfortable. But man, he slammed the door coming in, finished birdie, 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 birdie on the way in, and that shot at 16, he put it to a foot forget about it.
I mean,
that was incredible.
yeah,
So,
I watched all of the third round and all of the fourth round, or all of the second round and all of the third round. Sunday, I was trying to stay off of any kind of sports, just to send any kind of energy so the Birds could beat the Chiefs. But
well, thank you.
but
Appreciate that.
But I watched it. I definitely watched. I watched pretty much the Friday round wire to wire, and it was good. It was. I mean, I think all around the field played good golf. It was just he kind of came out, and it was really kind of out of nowhere.
The book on him, from what they were saying, is extremely dedicated to his craft, and if not the most likable guy out there, certainly makes the short list. So you guys notice, it seems like when you have a guy there that wins for the first time, they start talking him up as, well, here's a guy who's gonna, once the lid's off, he's gonna start throwing a bunch in there. And it might be true, he certainly, Lord knows, got the talent for it, but there's only so many opportunities to win out there. And now it's just an ever increasing amount of people that seem like can do it. Where do you see Thomas Dietrich going after that performance Sunday?
I mean, look, he won a tournament. I mean, let's pump the brakes. Like, let's come talk to me when you win a U.S. Open, Players, win some of the Travelers, win some of these, down halfway through the season, big tournaments. Bay Hill's coming up, Genesis is coming up. Like, come talk to me when you're starting to string together some of these some of these events that are really getting points. Yes, obviously he's a better golfer than I am, and but yeah, just a little bit better. But come talk to me when you're really throwing together events.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man.
Well,
go ahead, B.
Well, so obviously winning on the PGA Tour is very hard. I mean, we all know you have to have your right stuff, and even as you're talking about the driving range, for me, it's usually a Charles Dickens Tale of Two Cities: the front nine, the back nine, the practice range, the first tee. How he did it on that last day, shooting a 65, he didn't come back to the field at all. So you have to give kudos there. And yeah, Belgium, besides Cozarts and Pieters, or however you pronounce it, it's either chocolate or waffles. That's about all I would know for Belgium. But I'm with Noah in this respect. You can't well, there you go. And you can't keep appointing or anointing someone with a good series on a tournament 4 rounds in. Because, I mean, look, we can talk a little bit about this as well, and Izzy would love your perspective. We did a number on Spieth last week, and he showed up pretty well at the tournament, and then did some magical things around a couple of places. But to then win more than one tournament in a season is now very tough, to Noah's point. So I think we're always looking to have the next big thing, just for viewership, sponsorship, all the things that make the machine of the PGA run. But then, and again, I know we'll get to it in a moment, but if we think about the week that is, and Tiger being missing, even if he wouldn't contend, we love theater, we love nostalgia, we love purism, whatever all those things might be. So for Dietrich, for the way he won, I think we can applaud it, but I'm not sure, to Noah's point, that we're ready to see him do it again anytime soon.
Y'all remember everything B just said for my big up and slow down in our segment here in just a minute.
Okay. Waffle what? Izzy?
You kind of hit what I was going to say on the head, and I'll reframe it a little bit. I think that the hype that they're throwing behind the guys in the lead is for the viewer, and not necessarily the announcers being completely behind the words that they're saying. I think they're building a storyline while the tournament's happening. They are playing up the obviously excellent play of the individual, but I don't necessarily see Dietrich as going to be hot all season like they maybe played it up to be.
Right.
I agree with Noah. I agree with B. He won. That's awesome. He played really well, insanely well. Some of those holes were, I mean, I don't know how you hit a ball that close, especially on those greens. It was amazing to watch, but I don't know if the consistency's there against, like B was saying, the field that's out there at the moment.
It's tough, like you said. A lot of great players, few opportunities to win. And was it me, or I thought everybody was on their best behavior this week after that circus that we saw a year ago, where, golfers like Zach Johnson said, "That's it, I'm out, guys. I can't do this anymore." It seemed like everybody had a good time, but it was toned down a little bit. You think they kept everybody in check, or what was some of the
after last year for sure. I mean, they stopped serving alcohol after day 2 or something last year when that guy just passed out on the ground and he slipped, fell, and just didn't get back up. I think he ended up being fine, but they golf is still the hoity-toity sport of them all, and it's opening up to the craziness and the crowds and that kind of level of excitement, but it's got to come in stages, and there does have to be some level of respect from the fans. These guys are there to compete. You're here to watch them. It's not football; it's golf.
Yeah, right.
Well, even as you say football, it just struck me when I used to watch it. The Monday Night Football, Hank Williams, all my Rowdy friends are coming over tonight. That's kind of the way the Waste Management was. And again, we've got some other tournaments, especially Ryder Cup, President's Cup. I think I alluded to this last week. And there's a bit of that theater that allows that rowdiness. And obviously, what's my man, Emiliano Grillo hitting the slam dunk hole-in-one on 16. Yeah. So you got to be able to release when you see those kind of things. But you could tell subdue, I think is the right word. And then from what you can hear and read, seems like the tournament organizers are trying to bring a bit of, traditional golf decorum to it. But part of when you say Waste Management, you just Phoenix Open, you just immediately think, well, that's where you can do it. It's the one tournament in a fishbowl where you can act out.
Yeah, right.
Which gives you a better insight into what the real golf fan is. I don't know if we're all just pretending with a veneer when we're actually all socially acceptable with our drink and our pinkies out, when we really just want to be a rowdy bunch.
Well, I'll foreshadow, speaking of rowdy at a golf tournament, there'll be a golf tournament in Charlotte in May. They might even be playing for one of those major trophies. And all I know is 2 of the 4 people on this collective right now will be there. And it'll be one of them's birthday. Won't it, Noah?
Yes, it will.
So
that disqualified me.
Yeah. Queen City starts stocking up the Mick Ultra now. Because G Love and Noah coming to town in May. And we probably won't make the news, but I can't guarantee it. And,
hey, not with that attitude.
Hey,
you gotta set your goals.
We love everybody here in the collective, so we're not just a one tour family here. So I gotta ask before we move on, talk about our big ups or our slow downs. Anybody here were we some of the 12,000 people that watch Live Golf on FS2 on Sunday? Anybody?
No.
What is even going on in the Live universe right now?
So Live kicked off this week in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. They got that new deal with Fox. They were, it makes me think of ESPN, the Ocho back in the dodgeball days, but they were on FS2. All right. Not 1, but 2, FS2, on Sunday from 10 to 3. They got to deal with the time difference because they playing in Saudi Arabia. So 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 12,000 people watched. So PGA, I think, took a little dig at them during the tournament. Maybe y'all saw that online. What do you think that means for Live? I mean, I know they've bounced around the dial just a little bit. I applaud them, man. They've got their home on Fox now. Had 2, not 1, but 2 of the organizers of major tournaments giving their players a pathway to participate. Have they turned a corner now? Should they be disappointed, or is this just kind of building blocks for Live? What do you guys think?
Well, I'll take the first step. So certainly the time differential, the venue, and just the format, all those things could have, the poor viewership showing. And, but then when you think about the personalities on Live, they're still compelling, great players. So when I think about DeChambeau, of course, that's the first place to go.
Yeah.
John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, he's got to kind of come back to relevancy in the sense of how he plays. Brooks Koepka, those are the 5 I'd just immediately say, hey, I'd watch them in a tournament on PGA, but Live is a different story. So while they're scrambling and fighting for that kind of viewership, because I watched part of it today, didn't get to finish it, they posted yesterday Bryson with Grant and the Good Morning crew, and it had 1.3 million views in one day.
Yep.
So it's not about the players, and look, it's actually almost easier to watch Bryson on YouTube and enjoy what he can do with the game of golf. And of course, US Open and other things where he made a great showing. For me, Live just doesn't do it.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on the not doing it. I also think that if you're going to have a tournament in Riyadh and you're going to try and stream it to the U.S. on that time zone, why? Make it a you watch it the following day and you have a little bit of time to edit and give, maybe do some cool things with your editing and put a story behind the round. Does it make any sense to try and stream? Is this the 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. is whenever the round was going?
10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So.
I see. Wait.
It was not terrible.
Well, the 12,000 viewers, I don't know what Liv's average viewership is. I know it's not that great. I know it's nowhere near what PGA gets. I'm not sure. I've never really been sure what the point of creating that group was, that the Live Tour. I don't know why it was created to begin with. Obviously there's the washing rumors, and I'm sure there's some of that in there, but it's been here for a few years, and this seems like it's been shrinking in size and popularity since it came out rather than growing.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I'm waiting for them to take off, and I wonder if maybe it's not dipping a little bit. I'm listening to you, B, and just you start rattling off some of those names, and I'm thinking about, dang, man, what if they were on the PGA Tour? I was like, wait, they were, and what if we would have had the Waste Management and, coming down, and Brooks was in the mix like he was just 3 years ago. Hard to believe it was just maybe 3 years ago. And our DJ's there, and, or you name them. And that we have some shootouts. Not that we don't have great talent on the PGA Tour, but it's like those guys have gone over there and now they've just kind of faded into anonymity a little bit. And I miss seeing them play. So it'll be interesting to see if, the Fox deal helps kind of resurrect Live Golf and something. And I can't take credit for this take. This is our man Ando, who's not on today's podcast, but man, the shotgun start is great for a consumption, perspective, because if you tune in and you want to see the leaders play, and maybe they come on the air and leaders are still an hour or so, especially on a major away from teeing off. Maybe you don't have that much time. Everybody tees off at once. That's great. I've been to a Live event where you're not there long. It starts and it's over pretty quickly. But, it gets a little disjointed, when the leader's over on 11 finishing up, and it's just something about watching everybody come home and taking that walk down 16, 17, 18 to finish up, and having to battle the same conditions at, virtually not at the same time, but, finishing in the same order to decide the tournament. It's difficult when, you're over there on 11, finish it up to see if you can close out a tournament. It just doesn't work. So maybe a shotgun start the first 2 rounds, and then the third round of the tournament, you do something a little more traditional. I don't know, but Ando's right. They've got to fix that shotgun start. It doesn't work. It's not compelling.
I mean, realistically, Live Golf obviously has Bryson. I mean, DJ was relevant at a time. I think his day of being relevant is over.
Lost his club deal this week.
John Rahm, I think left the PGA Tour when he was at his prime. But I think there's a handful of players that left the PGA when they still had plenty of time to win.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, there's no relevant players in Live. If we're being realistic, I mean, some of these players that are in Live, like I mean, they're relevant 15 years ago.
Well, the thing I noticed, I like the team format to a point. I mean, I like the idea of the team format. I don't really like the way they do it. That's another. We won't go down that rabbit hole. But you look at that team captain, and then it's just three randos. It's kind of like
I mean, when you were watching
Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Yeah.
So it's not a whole lot of Pips there.
When you were watching Full Swing season 1, when these players were leaving to go to Live, like not trying to be that guy, but when Luke Donald goes to Live, I was like, all right, you haven't won a tournament in 20 years.
Have fun, Poulter.
Yeah,
I get
like
it,
you know what I mean, like you haven't won a tournament in 20 years, so like
see you later. I get it. And let's get the big up and slow down, man, because we got some things I really want to talk about. And
let's go over how we're the new update to that segment on how we're going to run it, because we kind of just spoke and talked last time. I think now the new way it's going to go is each member of the collective, when it's their turn, they're gonna spew their hot take. They've got 30 seconds to defend their opinion, and then the other three members of the collective will give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, stating, yes, I agree with you, that's a big up, or slow down, brother, that is a terrible take. Yeah. So I guess, Noah, I know you were pretty excited about your take, so how about you start us off?
Okay, so I guess my kind of my kind of take on this week is the Masters is an overrated golf tournament.
Ooh.
And here's why. Every other major on tour, they play multiple venues. So in my opinion, it's more impressive that a 25-year-old shows up to Shinnecock and plays a couple practice rounds and goes out and wins the U.S. Open and shoots a 10 under on a course they've never played. Whereas the Masters, they play every year, so there's no surprises. The Sunday Pins have been in the same place for the last 50 years. So, yes, obviously I'm going to tune in and watch every minute of the Masters if I can. But I'm just saying it's more impressive that, John Rahm, when he was young, or any of these younger players, or anybody really, goes out to Pinehurst when they ain't had a U.S. Open there in 20 years. And a lot of these players have never played Pinehurst number 2, goes out and shoots what they shoot to win a major. Or, I mean, even look at the British, you got the Royal St. George's, how many people have never played these courses, and they go out and shoot a 20 under, and they figure it out in a couple of practice rounds. Yes, the Masters is historic to our game, but it's not. I think that it's more impressive for somebody to go out and win at a major where it rotates.
Izzy, we'll start with you.
I gotta go. Slow down, brother. The Masters, the aura, the storylines, the legends that played at that course, and the course hasn't been the same. Maybe the pins are in the same spot, but they've updated it, they've lengthened it. The course has adapted over time to the new technology and to players hitting farther and being better. There's something about the Masters and the music and the casters' voices and the just there's an aura there that you cannot ignore. So I've got to go thumbs down to the take.
Beast move.
I would tell him to slow down too. Few things. So G-Love, we've had a good colleague of ours get to play. He only played 9 holes, and then torrential rain fell. He's sitting there. Well, got to be careful. He got to do some things that a lot of people in this life don't get to do. And then 2 buddies of mine played a full round the day before that. And not to put you on the spot, Noah, but if you've never been there, walked it, I actually had a slim chance to play, didn't get to do it. I'm with Izzy. And look, in the golf, in the sense of purism, the Masters represents every element of that. Now, look, there's some history that I could be sensitive to, that I could say, okay, there's been some evolution there. We can be real about some of that history. But then when I think about the course, I mean, think about it this way. You can land, if we played a course where we landed our drive dead in the smack center of the fairway and the ball is still 2 feet above our feet and you still got to hit a curving shot across water into a green, I don't care if you see that same hole every day for the next 10 years, pin placements notwithstanding, that's going to be a tough shot. So, but what I agree with, because I don't want to just totally make this a Noah bashing moment here in our first ups and downs, is the variety of the other majors is a welcome change and it's part of it. But then Augusta becomes that anchor that gives us that legend, that lore, that mystique to watch, yes, what Tiger did, to watch what Phil did when he won his first one and doing a big jumping jack split. And then watching Bubba Watson with this weird shot shaping and the way he pulled it off. There's always those moments. And it's just, to me, back to some of the stuff we talked about, why live may not work. The Masters immediately brings theater. And for us that are big into the game as purists, and not saying that, Noah, that you aren't, the Masters is a staple.
I heard this take. Noah and I talk every day, and he hit me with it earlier in the week. And when he laid it out to me, I was worried that maybe he had got into some bad stuff he shouldn't have and needed an intervention. Okay. And then he gave me the rationale behind it, and I listened. And I have gone backwards and forwards on it all week. I've been talking about it this afternoon. So if nothing else, I'm going to say, Noah, thank you for giving me something to think about through the week, because it has truly been a pleasure. And Rory McIlroy might win the Masters this year. I hope he does. I like Rory McIlroy. And if he does, it'll be his 15th try, 20th try, something like that, on a course he's played over and over. Tough shots. B. Smooth, you're exactly right. Tough shots he's got to execute, and he's had trouble with. But if he goes and he plays, the U.S. Open this year and he wins that, it might be a course he's played twice in his career, 3 times in his career. If I could win one major in my entire life, I'll give you an answer in 1 second. I want to win Augusta. I want to win the Masters. Okay. Yeah. But I'm going to go big up. Noah, I am not going to leave you out there alone, because while I don't fully agree with you, I don't think you might have arrived at the right answer. I'm looking at your work, and I understand how you got there. Yeah. And the fact that, somebody, as you say, rolls out of the courtesy vehicle, takes a couple practice nines and conquers Bethpage on their first try, that's pretty daggone impressive. Yeah. So I appreciate you, young buck, and it took some cannonball-sized what's to say it. So I'm going to give you a big up. Congratulations.
It was a hot take. I'll give you that.
Good for you. All right. Izzy, you're up, my man.
All right. This one's going to be short and sweet. Tiger needs to ride in a golf course when he competes in tournaments. I'd rather watch him play all 4 days than him drop out after 2 days, because he's got physical issues that, had he not walked the 18s, he probably could have made it to Sunday. Now, could he have made it to Sunday on his playing ability? I'm not sure. Not every tournament, but there have been a few where he played well enough to make it, to pass the cut, and to potentially make it to Sunday. Obviously he's making it to Sunday if he makes it past the cut, but I think he just needs to. They've offered it to him that he could ride the cart at some tournaments. He just needs to do it, man. It's not a, no one's going to look down on you for riding in the cart. You got in a car accident. You have half of a leg on one side. It's amazing you're out there at all. Just ride the cart.
B, we'll start with you.
So I'm gonna say slow down, and I guess that's just gonna be my way here today. Sorry, Noah. Sorry. I had to look it up, but Casey Martin, I remember the noise around him being in a position to have to need the cart. So I don't know. Number one, there's a precedent. Number two, if that's something that the PGA allows just because there's a physical ailment. And look, as a man that wears 2 neoprene sleeves, I typically wear pants even in the middle of August because I don't want the sleeve to show because it immediately just makes you look like, oh, you're broken, feeble. We're about to take your money. Tiger has done a lot of ceremonial golf recently because it's been theater to watch him. I know I keep saying theater. Certainly with what he did for his mom and her passing, we all understood that. I don't know if I'd want the rules to be, I'll say the word, if it's indeed a rule, broken, even for someone that I would want to see step out of that cart and have a chance to play 4 rounds just to watch it. Because I think even by way of viewership, the moment he doesn't make a cut, it just drops off a cliff.
Absolutely.
But no, I'd say slow down.
Fair. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong because I did not look this up. It would take me too long, and I really want to listen to what B said. Where Casey Martin play college golf?
I don't know. Where did he?
I thought he and Tiger were teammates at Stanford. I might be wrong. So I might be wrong. Y'all check me.
Stanford. Teammate of Tiger Woods.
I thought
Yep.
Good man.
I thought they were teammates. And I know this one's right. Who was the loudest voice in support of Casey Martin getting that voucher to ride in a cart? Y'all remember?
Was it Tiger?
It was Mr. Eldrick, Tiger Woods. Here's what I'm gonna say. Big up. All right. Tiger Woods came along at a time when I was a huge Jack Nicklaus fan, and I was a history major in college, and I liked everything that was old and historical and preserved. And here was this kid coming along, and he was surely going to shatter every record, and he was going to own that number of majors. It was just a matter of time. And he was, in my mind, brash and cocky, and I don't know about this cat. What I have come to appreciate over the last couple of decades is Tiger Woods is a gift to golf.
Mm-hmm.
He is a gift to sports, and there will never be anyone else like him. So our days of watching him are I will say, are few. Man, they are grains of sand rolling around the bottom of that hourglass. It is almost over. So I think the biggest obstacle is getting him to accept the cart. But if we could talk him into it, get in that cart and ride, my man. Ride, Tiger, ride as long as you want. And the last piece of evidence I will say to that, again, I'm referencing our man Ando here, but he and I were at the U.S. Open together this past year. And I say this with all positivity and admiration. We walked in the gate. Ando, huge fan of the game, knows the game, and he's just fun to be around. When you're talking golf, Ando's your guy. And when he looked up the leaderboard and he saw, I can't remember if Tiger was 1 under or 2 under, but instantly Ando became a 12-year-old boy, and he said, Big Cat is in contention. Let's go. And went running to where Tiger was. Let's go see this man. And the exuberance that he had, and that's what Tiger is for us, man. I want to keep that for as long as we can. Big up.
Noah?
Big up. I mean, look, he does have medical issues, and if he wants to keep playing, I think it's more of a, I think he's obviously not going to take the cart. I think it's more of a conversation of like, when is he going to retire and leave the game? I can remember being in grade school watching him, change the game. He was the first player that ever took fitness and nutrition seriously, and he revolutionized golf. And he advanced the sport. I think that if he wants to keep playing and be relevant, maybe he'll ride. But I think, more importantly, it's probably, we'll see him at a couple events, but definitely more, we're approaching retirement. And I think he would retire before he would take a golf cart. But I'm gonna agree with you. Like if he's gonna keep playing, I'd like to see him in a cart just so he could play the tournaments.
Love it. I agree. All right, time for mine. Pretty short and sweet, and almost sort of kind of got blown today, and then now it's not. Scotty Scheffler, 2 tournaments and 1 round in the books for his season, and boy, he's a good golfer. Newsflash: Scotty Scheffler's good. But Scotty Scheffler is no longer dominant. The pack has caught Scotty Scheffler, and even though he was in the lead today, he lipped out, missed a 18-inch putt on 18. Now he stands 2 shots out of the lead. He would have got back within a shot. But hey, man, he's a great golfer. He's an elite golfer. He is going to still win tournaments, but everybody's window closes. The dominance of world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, is over. He has been swallowed up by the pack, and he is no longer gonna dominate the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
B, you want to start us off, or no? We'll go. You go.
Yeah, you're gonna have to slow down. Look, he is the future of American golf. He will be relevant and dominant for the next 10, 12, 15 seasons. He's coming off an injury in the off season, correct? He's coming off an injury. I think that, yes, we do have big tournaments right at the beginning of the season, and it's, I'm sure on some level people are, how you do in these first, couple tournaments is how, it kind of lays the groundwork for the rest of your season. But, I mean, a Sunday in July at the Farmers or whatever tournament they're playing, April at the Players, or, July in England playing the Open. I'll look for him to be dominant and to win tournaments. I think he's just easing into a season coming off a tournament. He will be the future of American golf for the next decade.
B?
I would also, I guess I'm 3 for 3, the trifecta, slow down. Dominance is a pretty tough word to meet, because the word dominance means multiple tournaments in a year. It means you're always in a position to at least have a chance to win. And I'm with Noah in this respect. If in injury, he's still finding himself in top 10s, top 5s, that's just micrometers of a putt here or a proximity to hole on a approach shot there. And as he comes through the injury, because the real differentiator, even as we just talked about Tiger, and certainly I don't want to go back and retract, because I would love to see him as much as we possibly could as well. The question is back to both, sort of like Elvis at the very end with peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I don't know if I want to see Tiger at that level, but the difference between Scotty and the field is the same as it was with Tiger in the field, and it's up here. And once somebody has that mentality of dominance, a mindset of dominance, when the physicality comes all the way back, even if it's diminished a little because of the injury, he's still mentally able to fight his way into the tournaments. Whether it's this year and it's a multi-year win environment, or if it's the future. And now I might debate the 10 to 15 year dominance, but I think we're going to see Scotty Scheffler be very relevant in the next few years, maybe even very specifically at Augusta.
I have to agree with Noah and B. I'm going to go slow down. And they've made some of the points that I'm thinking of, and I'll just reiterate a little bit. He sliced his hand open.
Yeah.
Just 2 months ago, not even. There was no practice the season ends, all those golfers are taking months off. They're not, maybe they're going out and they're playing a couple rounds, but they're not grinding like they were during the season. And then there's weeks of prep, months of prep before the season starts back up. He didn't have almost any of that due to injury. And like B was saying, if he's still playing this well without the reps that he normally has, once he gets back into his zone physically, I think mentally he's still there, but hopefully his mental doesn't depreciate due to the physicality not being quite there yet. But I think once his physicality catches back up, it's going to be last year on repeat. That's where my head is. So not to join the Debbie Downer club, but I'm going to go.
All right.
Go down.
Time will tell.
B, you're up.
Well, I'm almost afraid now to launch out since I've been shooting everybody else down with arrows. And a little bit of narcissism here. I actually picked myself this time. I'm currently a 17, and I actually played to it pretty true. And G Love knows this. I'm going to shoot 90 everywhere I go. Doesn't matter. But this is the season I get down to 10. So big ups, big down. So before I get in, a little bit of quick validation. My biggest challenge to me is I'm playing with colleagues that are fives, as we well know. G Love, you played with some of these guys, and it's high stakes poker when we get together. And I'm back there at 6,500 yards, and the whole notion of moving up has been based on age, when the reality moving up should be based on handicap and or driver distance, because you're going to still have slope rating, handicap still move up. So I've got some strategies in place, but that's my big up, big slowdown, is I'm going from a 17 to a 10. G Love, I'm going to save you for last because you've seen too much of this smooth swing. Noah, you've never seen me play, but what would you say?
Gotta go big up. I think if you got the simulator going, you've got some golf plan, you got these woods and stuff ironed out. I think you're. I mean, you've got the drive to practice, and you're gonna be practicing. I think you could definitely, if a golfer is taking it seriously in a season, could shave multiple strokes off their handicap.
I just fell in love with Noah. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to commentate on the rebuttal. Couldn't help myself.
Big up to your big up.
Yeah.
There we go. Izzy.
I'm on the fence. So let me expound, and then I'll make a decision. I want that for you, but seven points off your handicap in a year is a monster challenge. Now, the difference between a 17 to a 10 and a 12 to a 5 or a 7 to a scratch, there's levels of difficulty there. And a 17 to a 10 is much more achievable than a 12 to a 5 or a 7 to a 0 to a scratch golfer. If you have the time to put in to the practice to hit that milestone, then I'm a big up. And I'll say big up for the confidence for throwing it out there. But it will be a grind, but I believe in you. So I'll leave it at that. I'll go big up.
So it's Valentine's Day or the day before, so I'm now in love with 2 of the 4 squares, 3 of the 4 squares. I gotta love myself. G Love.
We already have a bromance, man. That's how we started this thing. I'm going to say, and I have no choice, but I will say, in all honesty, biggest up. This is a no-brainer, and I'll tell you why. Because I know B Smooth before he was B Smooth, and we've been playing now together for a few years, and to my knowledge, you've never identified the goal that this is what I'm going to do, and this is when I'm going to do it. Okay. And I know you're a man of principle. I know you're a man of resolve, and you tend to do what you have to do, to Izzy's point, to hit your goals. Okay. Now you have the simulator. You have now embraced the fact that I'm going to play from the tees that make sense to my game. I don't belong at 6,500 yards, or certainly no farther than that. You've embraced the clubs. These are the clubs that I need to be hitting, because here are the results that I get when I hit them. And you've got the simulator back there, which is going to be constant feedback on your swing and the clubs, and making sure that you're tuning your mental game to match the swings. So I can't wait to see what you shoot on March 31st. I bet you're somewhere. I'm gonna say you got a real shot to be under 85 and be close to that number, man. Especially because the track that we're playing, I've played it before. We played it together.
We played together. Yes, we did.
Right, that was a fun track.
It was a fun track.
It's gettable. So that's a big up, man. As you know, if you want to be a 10 or under a 10, means you got to do it consistently. So I have no doubt that you'll do it, and we'll be back here as the leaves are changing, and we'll pull up our gin, and we'll see where you're at on that. But
or we'll drink gin, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two.
No doubt in my mind, for sure, man.
All right, gentlemen, let's do weekend previews before we close out. We'll talk about Torrey Pines, what our predictions are. We'll review round one really quickly, talk about Live Australia, and then maybe we can do a quick overview of TGL if we have time. I will be honest, I didn't watch this past week. I had a pretty busy week and I didn't catch anything. If was there was a match this past week, right?
You know, I'm not trying to be facetious, man. It's off my radar. I
Yeah,
know y'all talked about it last week. I watched the show, man, but I think we're all in agreement. It has its time, and for me, that window is there, but that window is closed. I'm far more interested in what's going on course now.
Yeah,
I've totally tuned it out. You know.
Well, let's do Torrey Pines. First round is done. Denny, we chatted about it right before we started the podcast. Denny McCarthy's in the lead. Seamus Powers and Patrick Rogers tied for second. And then we've got Davis Thompson, Wyndham Clark, and Scotty Scheffler all tied at 2 under. I think Scotty's going to win this one.
I was just going to say, man, you queued it up perfectly. I'm giving the three of you guys. You taking Scheffler or you taking the field? Izzy just took Scheffler. Beast, who are you taking? Scheffler or the field?
I'm taking Scheffler because what I'm looking at right now, that's my pick.
Noah?
Yeah, I'll probably go Scheffler too.
Man, I do not want to be the guy in the collective that seems like he's anti-Scheffler. I love the guy. And I root for him when he's out there. I just don't think he's going to be dominant anymore. But when I look at this leaderboard, I don't see anybody that's going to stack up against him for 4 rounds. And y'all know Scotty, man, when he's within 2 or 3 or 4 strokes of the lead on Friday, he goes home and he tells his wife, "I got him right where I want him." You know, he doesn't need to be in the lead. He just needs to be within shouting distance. So I think he's in a good spot.
Another point I wanted to bring up for my confidence in him is the number of high scores on the first day. I mean, the top 20 are even or better. The other 52 players are over par, and many of them a lot over par. I mean, a lot of the people who you look at and you go, this guy's gonna be in contention. Some of them are 2-3 over par right now. So they've got a massive hill to climb before they're even back in a spot where they can look at the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And Scheffler's 2 under. I think he's going to ride that and he's going to take it.
No, it kind of pokes a hole in your big up a few minutes ago because a lot of those guys were there 3 weeks ago playing Torrey. So, you know, they saw the course, man.
Yeah.
But I went big up, so that's our argument, man.
I think McIlroy's in a position to be.
Yeah, even's not bad here.
I mean, but he's always been that player that kind of lulls into a tournament and then goes.
Do you think they give Tiger a courtesy vehicle at this tournament now, or is it too soon to make that joke?
Oh, plus given the circumstances, love
of him pulling out.
I love Tiger, man.
I know you.
That's the other thing. He withdrew a couple days ago.
Yeah, I was really hoping he would play, man, and I was actually surprised that he opted in. So I was sad to see him drop out, but we got a little tournament in April coming up, so I'm sure that is circled on the calendar, probably in Sharpie, let alone ink. So, you know, it probably came down to, I got to be ready for Augusta in April. So
Yep.
I'm looking at this leaderboard. Is Jordan Spieth ever going to be relevant again?
he was relevant about 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So
He
what are
was
you
relevant
talking about?
5 days ago, but he's tied for like 80th.
He's an enigma,
Sorry,
man.
tied for 51st.
The putting is back for him, and that was what he hung his hat on. When he rose to power,
Yeah.
so to speak. Man, we don't have time for it now, but talking about Spieth, man. Remember Tyson's famous quote? Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. I mean, Jordan. Everything was coming up roses for Jordan Spieth till he put one in the water on 12 at Augusta, leading the Masters. Y'all remember he was cruising for his second Masters, and he put one in the drink, and he was never the same cat after that. So that'll be one we have to talk about one day.
Yeah.
But real quick before we leave, Live Australia, they might already be playing there, given the time difference. Anybody?
Live is so far off my radar. I don't think I've watched cumulatively more than 2 or 3 hours of Live golf.
Phil's back this week. He was hurt last week, but trying to play for the High Flyers coming.
Yeah,
so,
I've never watched a single round of Live.
Yeah, anything I've seen has been a highlight or a recap.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like we spoke about a couple weeks ago. There's so much content right now. It's not up there in my priority. I've got 4 YouTubers who are more important to me
hottest
than Live golf.
Hottest take of the week on here, and B had it is I don't really care all that much about Live Australia, but I've queued up Bryson and Grant and
Garrett
and I want to see if they break 50. I don't know the answer to that, and I can't wait to find out. So
yeah, same.
So that really is true, man. YouTube golf, other than the PGA, YouTube is where people consume more golf than anywhere else, and I think that's only going to get more and more relevant as we go. There are several YouTubers, to your point, that I watch religiously, and Bryson's at the top of that list, along with Grant. They're my 2 favorites. So match made in heaven. Fellas, never does an hour go by faster than when we talk golf together.
Right now. Yeah. Well, guys, that's episode 3. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for this group is fun, and we'll have a different group next week. Anybody watching or listening, we haven't really been doing this before, but hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends and family about it. We're having a lot of fun doing this, and we hope that the ideas and opinions and somewhat entertaining fellows we have on this show are something you want to watch on a weekly basis. So
that's right.
All right, we're excited for the next one, and thanks for watching.
Swing happy, guys. Talk to you then.
Right.
Peace, guys. See y'all next time.
See ya.